We sort it, set it out, and wait for the truck to drive it to a greener future. For most of us these days, recycling is routine, but in some Florida cities, like Deltona, you won't find these colored bins on the curb. Recycling trucks haven't run in years.
I've recycled for years and years and years, and it was really hard to not be, to know that you're not doing that.
Mayor Heidi Hertzberg knows as well as anyone why Deltona canceled its recycling program, but she still cringes a little, throwing recyclables away with the rest of her trash.
It's a daily psychological issue with me. It was easy for us to pack it all up and barge it over to China and let them handle it.
In 2018, China announced it would no longer buy waste and most recycled material from other countries. And other buyers weren't paying enough to make recycling economically viable. For example, it cost the city of Deltona $80 per ton to process and recycle paper. They could only sell it for $5.
The stuff was going through the process, but in the end, there was no end user. China wasn't taking it, and there were not a lot of companies here in the United States that were actually using the recyclable materials to turn them into something else. So in the end, it was going in the landfill.
At least 4 other communities in Florida have also eliminated curbside recycling. Closest to us is Deerfield Beach. And if you're wondering why environmentalists aren't shouting from the rooftops, there's a reason.
Recycling will never work. We will produce too much for it to ever be adequately environmentally productive or also economically feasible.
Dr. Jennifer Jones leads the Center for Environment and Society at Florida Gulf Coast University. She tells the I-Team losing China as a customer for all that waste exposed how expensive and inefficient American recycling programs are. The reality is just 10% of plastic is really recycled. Most of it gets buried or burned. Another problem is too many of us put objects in recycling bins that don't belong there. Mixing that material causes contamination and makes all of those recyclables unusable. Dr. Jones says the real answer is for each of us to reduce waste and reuse materials ourselves when we can, rather than putting them all in the recycling bin.
This is a case where we've been told to believe in a solution that's not really feasible. I wish none of us had to recycle, right? The vision, the dream, is a way to be able to still have our products, but not need to be educated and use these recycling systems that are so inefficient.
Keep recycling. Do your part and recycle right. That's the biggest message.
Willie Puz is with the Solid Waste Authority of Palm Beach County, which runs the recycling system. He admits the China problem had an impact, but says we can't give up because recycling is on the rebound. Here's a look. In 2017, Palm Beach County was making almost $140 per ton of recycled material. In 2018, when China dropped out of the market, those profits were slashed in half. At its lowest in 2020, the county was bringing in just $56 per ton. But this year, prices are going up again to $98 a ton, thanks to buyers like Vietnam and India. Willie says separating the items is critical. Paper in the yellow bins, plastic in blue. And pay attention to non-recyclables that might contaminate the load.
You have to remember that if you don't recycle, those materials have to go somewhere. Most of the time, it's going to be to a landfill. And there's going to come a time, and South Florida is a very good example of this, where South Florida is built out. The landfills are coming near capacity. We're going to have to site a new landfill somewhere, and nobody wants a landfill in their backyard.